Hello and welcome back to another video on my channel. I apologize for not posting videos sooner. I've just been really caught up with school, really busy finishing my assignments and homework. But I'm going to try and post at least twice a week, once on Saturday and once on Sunday. And if I have time, I'll post more, like maybe 2 to 3 times per day. So instead of 2 times a week, I'll post 6 times a week. So I'll try my best to do that. But yeah, minimum is 2 times a week. And again, I do apologize. I haven't been posting recently. Caught up with school, and it's been pretty busy. So I'm coming back to Forza to film another video. And this is my top 10 cars that I use in Forza Horizon 4. So I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to give some specs, and I'm going to rank them at the very end of the video. So stay tuned. So okay, let's get started. So these are my cars. I'm going to go ahead and click on my favorites tab and start from the very beginning. Okay, so my first in the list, these aren't ranked yet, this is just going from first to last car, is the Bugatti Chiron 2018. So the speed is 10, the handling is 8.6, the acceleration is 10, the launch is 10, and the braking is 8.5. It's all-wheel drive, it's S2 968 to be exact, it's a legendary, and it costs 2.4 million credits. Now, it has 1,479 horsepower and 1,180 pound-feet of torque. It weighs 3,167 pounds. And the front, and these aren't really important. And I really like this car because it's my favorite car. The Bugatti Chiron is my favorite car, so that automatically gets a tier on the list. And if those of you who are wondering, I'm going to do two different tiers at the very end of the video. The first tier is my opinion on which car I like the most. So number 1 would be my all-time favorite car, so I'm going to be starting at number 10 and going up. And the second tier is the practicality of them and how fun they are to drive. So number 1 would be the most practical and the most fun to drive. Number 10 would be not so practical, so I would assume it's a 2-seater. And not so fun to drive, so it'd probably be slow. That's my guess. But yeah, so that's the first one. The second car of my top 10 is the 2012 Ferrari 599 XX Evolution. 1,144 horsepower, 934 pound-feet of torque, 2,380 pounds, which is the weight. This car, I believe, is the fastest car in Forza Horizon 4. I haven't unlocked its full potential, but the reason I like it so much is because the sounds it makes is just like no other Ferrari. Like, I have a LaFerrari, I have a bunch of different Ferraris, but this one just sounds a lot better, and it's a race car. It handles super well. I was going like 150 miles an hour at one turn. I was almost about to fly off the road, but when I just did a slight turn, it completely stayed on the road, and that ginormous wing that you see in the back there really helped a lot. The speed is 9.3, the handling is 10, acceleration 10, launch 10, everything is 10. It's all-wheel drive and it's X999. It's the most maxed out that you can ever get. Now, the number 3 is the 2018 Jaguar I-Pace. This is a fully electric SUV, so the first SUV. It's all over the place, in my opinion. It's an S1 835 all-wheel drive, speed 6.3, handling 6.7, acceleration 7.7, launch 9.2, braking 6.9. The power is 512 horsepower, torque is 667 pound-feet, the weight is 3,734 pounds. Now, the thing with this car, I really like electric cars in the game, because I think that Forza for Horizon 4 at least has very little. So I appreciate it now and then when there's a hybrid car, which will be on this video, and an electric car just like this one. And the thing the thing I like about it is it being electric, because I want to take a break from the gas because I have a lot of gas cars. The thing I don't like about it is that you might think that it's really fast because it has instant torque since it's electric, but it's not fast by any means. It does have 512 horsepower, but it is a 3,700 pound SUV, which is it's all right. Like, you would expect this to be a little bit faster. And so if you ever want to race in this, don't, because the top speed is like, I think 150, and that's when it's upgraded. Stock is like 130, and the acceleration is not the best. It's like, I think 2 point something seconds, which is not really good when you want to race. I raced people in these, and I was racing like 1960 stock cars, and they still beat me in this. And this has instant torque, and those ones don't. But yeah. And number 4, I believe, is the Koenigsegg Jesko 2020. I love this Koenigsegg. It's my favorite Koenigsegg. It's an X999 rear-wheel drive, 1600 horsepower, 1,104 pound-feet of torque, and it weighs 2,851 pounds. This thing is extremely light. It is I think it's a hybrid, I think. And it's speed 10, handling 9, acceleration 10, launch 10, braking 9.3. Now, for a rear wheel drive car, this handles very well. Like, I was expecting it to roll out, and it does roll out. But thanks to this wing, if you drive it carefully and properly, it won't. And what I like about this car is it is the fastest car I own. It goes almost 300 miles an hour, 296 to be exact. And it's also very sleek, and the interior is just amazing. They did an amazing job on this, the Forza team, because, for example, the Koenigsegg 1-1 or the Regera, their interiors are very basic. The Regera being the most basic. It's just like a couple pixels on a black screen. The Koenigsegg, the Jesko has an amazing screen. The display is amazing. Everything is amazing. It looks like something that would be on a higher quality game that has better car quality, like Forza Horizon 5, for example. So this is really amazing. And we're on, what is it? One, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the 5th car is the 2016 Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce, or something like that. It goes, the speed is 8.8, handling 8.7, acceleration 10, and launch 10, and the braking is 8.9. It's all-wheel drive, which means it handles really well, plus this rear wing. It's an S2970, 1,086 horsepower, 746 feet of torque, and it weighs 2,831 pounds. So it's really, really light. Also, all of these cars in my list, these top 10 cars, have been raised with rally springs and dampers. I just think it's a little bit more comfortable, and in my opinion, I just don't like it very low to the ground because it can scrape, and unless it's something like this car, which is not part of the list, but I'm just going to talk about it now. It's a wide body kit, so when you have a wide body kit specifically on this car, it looks better when it's lowered and not raised. It just looks kind of funky and goofy when it's raised. But yeah, this is number 5, and number 6 is the Lamborghini Urus 2019. This is the newest Lamborghini. I love it because it's an SUV. I also love Uruses in general. It's also really comfortable, really fast too. The interior is just amazing, and it sounds amazing. It has 910 horsepower, 835 feet of torque, 3,713 pounds. So it's a very light SUV, or light is figurative. It's an S1 8 and a 7.1, and it's also all-wheel drive. Obviously, it's an SUV. The speed is 8.4, the handling is 7, the acceleration is 10, launch is 10, braking is 7.2. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 6. And I also just love the design on this. 7 is the Huracan Performante Lamborghini 2018. Speed is 8.2, handling is 8.6, acceleration is 10, launch is 10, braking is 8.8. The S2 968 all-wheel drive, which is very nice to have, considering how some of these cars are not all-wheel drive. These are, but like for example, Koenigsegg, some of them are rear-wheel drive. So it has 1,014 horsepower, 680 feet of torque, and it weighs 2,510 pounds, so it's a lot lighter than the other cars. I really like this car because it's basically this car, but a lot newer. It's also the Performante edition, and I just love newer cars in Forza Horizon 4. I think that adding newer cars in the game is a lot better. And I forgot to tell you what I liked about the Urus. What I like about the Urus is I have a bunch of, sports cars, supercars like here, the McLarens, but I also like to have, you know, SUVs. So that's where this one comes in, and there's going to be more down the road. So I can always appreciate an SUV. So, so this is 6, this is 7. 8 is going to be the 2018 Range Rover Velar First Edition. I love this car. It's just so hard to like get because it costs a lot of money in the auction house and whatnot. So it has 1,351 horsepower, 1,007 feet of torque, and it weighs 3,672 pounds. So it's basically the same as the Urus, which means it's very fast. It's an S2 903, it's all-wheel drive. The speed is 9.4, the handling is 6.6, the acceleration is 10, the launch is 10, the braking is 6.9. What I like about this car is because Forza Horizon 4 is based in the UK or Britain or wherever it is, and this is a British manufacturing car, and I just thought it was appropriate to have a British car in, where it's made. And I love the interior. It's white leather, and you can also see the details on the seats. You can see that they're ventilated, and you can also see the screen and the display, and everything just looks very nice. It also sounds very well. The customization on it is just amazing. And so these are very practical, and just like the Urus, these two are my favorite SUVs, along with the I-Pace. Everything else, I don't really like the other SUVs. But this is 8. 9 is the 2018 Mercedes AMG E63 S Brabus 800 edition. It's a little bit different. It has 932 horsepower, 896 feet of torque, and it weighs 3,494 pounds. So compared to an SUV, it's a very heavy sedan. It's almost the same weight as some of the SUVs, and like the power makes up for it. It's super fast. It sounds amazing, and I also love really high quality cars like this one. The interior, the digital display is just amazing. The speed is 9.1, the handling is 7.1, the acceleration is 10, the launch is 10, and the braking is 7.4. It's all-wheel drive, which is nice to have, and it's S2 904. I love Mercedes, and this is the newest I could ever get because this game did come out in 2018, I believe, and yeah, so I really love these SUVs, and I also really love these high quality sedans. So this was 6, this was 7, 8, this is 9, and for my 10th, this is probably my second favorite on the list. It's the Rimac Concept 2 2019. This is a concept car, and this car is probably the fastest accelerating car in the world. I mean, not in the world, but in the game. It doesn't actually go the fastest. Like, it only goes 260, which is very fast, but compared to other cars that are gas, like for example the Koenigsegg Regera RS goes 270, the Regera goes 250. The Agera RS goes 270, the Regera goes 250, even the Bugatti goes 260. So this matches really well with the others. Like I was expecting this to go like above 300, but it's whatever. The speed is 9.3, the handling is 8.0, the acceleration is 10, the launch is 10, and the braking is 8.1. It's an X999. It's all-wheel drive. It has 1,887 horsepower, so it's the highest horsepower count on any of the cars on this list. It has 1,695 feet of torque, and it weighs 3,526 pounds. It's very heavy because of the electric motors and batteries that are on the car, because I'm only assuming that to have a car that goes this fast and accelerates super fast, it's 1.2 seconds 0 to 60. To have a car accelerate that fast, you need to have a really powerful motor, which means it's going to be heavy. So it is a very heavy car, but I really like it. It's super, super fun. It's not the most practical, but it is very fun. So, now onto the tier. I really appreciate it if you stayed all the way to the end of the video, and if you have, you're amazing, you're the real one. You support this channel really well. So, for my personal preference on the cars, number 10, this is from my likeness of the cars. Number 10 probably be the Huracan Performante. It is the cheaper, kind of. It's not really it's not like calling a Lamborghini cheap is kind of funny to say, but like it's the cheaper version of this. So this is 10, and this one is 9. And for 8, okay, this is gonna be really hard. I didn't know it was gonna be this hard. So if I'm scrolling back and forth, you'll know why. I apologize. But okay, so 8. Mm, oh, I know. So 8. This will be 8 because in my opinion, it's just really slow and it's super expensive. It says 250,000 here, but like it's 10 million on the auction house, which is what I paid for it. It's just too slow. Don't get me wrong, it's an amazing car, great quality. The sounds of the electric motor are amazing. Like, it's funny to say electric cars have noise, but like the sound that it makes, like that like low pitched, or that when you put gas on it, it becomes high pitched, but that like squeal that it makes, I just really appreciate that. But it's not fast. Like, this needs to be at least 800, maybe even 1,000 horsepower to be considered fast. Like, this is not fast at all. The top speed is slow, the acceleration is slow. So that's why I think it deserves the 8 slot. So we got 10, we got 9, we got 8. Okay, now for 7. Let's see. This is really hard. I didn't think it was gonna be this hard. Okay, 7, in my opinion, would be the Range Rover. Only because I like the Lamborghini more, and these two are so close, so I just have to put the Range Rover in number 7. Number 6 would be the Koenigsegg Jesko. I really like this car, but like I said, I want to use more SUVs in this game because I just like, there's a lot of supercars, but I want to have a practical car and something like, like a family could be in, or something that, like, I don't know, is all-wheel drive and is bigger, which is an SUV. Because I really like off-roading in this game, and I can't really do that when I have a really low-to-the-ground car. Even when you raise it, it's still not the best at off-roading compared to like something like this. Okay, so what are we at? We're at, so this is 10, this is 9, this is 8, and this is 7. That's 6. Okay, the Jesko is 6. For 5. 5 is going to be probably the hardest because, in my opinion, it's between this car, the E63 Brabus, and the Urus. But you know what? I'm just going to have to go with the E63. So we're at 10, 9, 8. So this is the 5th. This is the 5th slot. I really like this car, but again, I don't want low-to-the-ground cars. I want high cars, which is, it's pretty self-explanatory why this is 5th. 4th would be the Urus, just because I like the cars that are higher on this list. This is very fast and everything, but there are faster cars, so I just like those a little bit more. So this is 4th. What else do I have? Do I even have anything else? So I have one here that I know I have. Another here, this one, and that one. Okay, so the 3rd would be the Ferrari 599XX Evolution. Just because it's not, in my opinion, it's not very practical. It's also low to the ground. I can't really do off-roading with it. And I love the car. It sounds amazing. It's great, but it's just not very practical, in my opinion. The 2nd slot would be the Rimac Concept 2, just because I really like this car. It's just not very practical, in my opinion, just like the other cars. And also, the Bugatti is going to be number 1 because that's my favorite car, and this is my 2nd favorite car out of all of these. So this would be number 2, very amazing car, and number 1 would be the Chiron, because it's just my childhood dream car. So yeah, and it's also very fast, very powerful. It's not the best at off-roading, but it sounds amazing too. Okay, so let me just do a really quick recap. So the Huracan Performante was number 10, the Aventador Super Veloce was number 9, the Jaguar I-Pace was number 8, the... what was it? I think it was the Range Rover was number 7, the Jesko was number 6, the E63 was number 5, the Urus was number 4, and I know I messed something up there, but like it's okay. This is number 3, this is number 2, and this is number 1. So now onto the second tier of the practicality and fun of driving. So 10 is the worst, least practical, least fun, and number 1 is the most practical and most fun. So at number 10, it is going to be the Ferrari 59XX Evolution, just because this is a race car, there's no room in it, and it's not very practical. It is really fun, but there are other cars that are way more fun and a lot more practical than it. So yeah, this is number 10. Number 9 is going to be the Jaguar I-Pace. So throughout both tiers, this car came in really low. The reason for that is the suspension is very stiff. It's not very comfortable, which means it's not very ideal for off-roading. It is practical, but it's not really fun. And not very practical when it comes to off-roading. It's practical in the city, but if you buy an SUV, you want to be able to take it anywhere. And there's going to be SUVs on this list where you can take anywhere and they're really comfortable. So this is number 9. Number 8 is going to be the Jesko, because it's just a little bit more spacious than the Ferrari 599X. It is faster, so it's more fun. But in my opinion, the Jesko is a way better off-roader than the I-Pace, because the Jesko actually is able to like control itself, and it's a lot more fun, even though it's rear-wheel drive. So this is number 7. Number 6 is going to be the Huracan Performante. It's amazing car, but like it's fun, but it's not very practical. Number 5 is going to be the Aventador, because it is a lot bigger, but it is easier to control, and it's also more fun because it has more horsepower and it's faster. So, and there's a bigger wing. So we have number 1, okay, 10 actually. I meant 10, 9, 8, and then we got 7 here, and then 6. So then 5. Which one is going to be 5? It's going to be the E63 Brabus. It's amazing. It's very fun. It also is very practical, but not as practical as the other cars. So this is 5. Number 4 is going to be the Bugatti. I'm not being biased with this. The Bugatti is number 4 because it is actually very, very fun, very fast, but obviously not very practical at all. So this is number 4. And number 3 is going to be the Range Rover. It's very practical. It's also a great Range Rover, a great off-roader too, and just a great combination. That's number 3, I think, and that means number 2 is the Urus. I like it more than the Range Rover, but it's not about me liking it, it's about the practicality. It does, in my opinion, have more room than the Range Rover. It's also, I think, a little bit bigger, maybe, and it also weighs a little bit more. It's easier to control. It's also more comfortable. The suspension is a lot more comfortable for off-roading or on bumps in the city, and it's faster. Oh wait, no. Actually, I think it is faster, even though it has less horsepower and it's heavier. But I think it is faster, in my opinion at least. So that means number 1 is going to be the Rimac Concept 2. Now you might be a little bit confused here, but just hear me out. Hear me out. This is the most fun, and in like grading this, the fun kind of outweighed the practicality of it. So even though this is not as practical as, like, for example, a Urus, it is a lot more fun. And like I said, if you get something that's very practical but not fun, like the I-Pace from Jaguar, you're just not gonna have a great time in it. But compared to this one, you're gonna have less room, but you're gonna have a blast in it. So I think that one just recapped it a little bit better. So let's run through it again. Number 10 in the list of practicality and fun is the 599X Evolution. Number 9 is the I-Pace. Number 8 is the Yesco. Number 7 is the Performante. Number 6 is the Lamborghini Aventador. Number 5 is the E63 Babis. Number 4 is the Range Rover. Oh wait, did I miss something up? No. Okay. So number 5 is the E63 Brabus. Number 4 is the Chiron. Number 3 is the Range Rover. Number 2 is the Urus. And number 1 is the Rimac, just because it was super fun to use, and also it's not as practical, but it's extremely fun. So you're gonna have a blast in it no matter what. It's also a great off-roader. It is the most horsepower and most torque on this list, and it's all-wheel drive. So yeah, that's my list, and I really appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much if you stayed to the very end. If you didn't stay to the very end, that's still okay. I'm gonna try and post between 2 and 6 videos a week, usually on the weekends, but I'll try to do it on the weekdays if I can. But just keep your eyes out. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.